So it's the end of 2023. And have you ever wanted to know how much time you spend at the Disney parks? Because I wanted to know. So I tracked it all year and here's my stats.
To all who come to our happy place, welcome to the No Guilt Disney podcast, where we have no guilt about our love for all things Disney and spreadsheets, apparently. We're about to get nerdy here, y'all. We're about to get real nerdy with Jane.
as if the Disney fandom doesn't already have a rap for being super nerdy. We're about to get super nerdy.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Yeah. So, I mean, normally I would say we're three Disney fangirls who probably know more about the Disney parks than most grown women should. And we're perfectly okay with that. But again, we're two today. We promise you it'll be three again soon.
Listen, Theresa was just like, I've got family stuff. It's the holidays. And we were like, girl, we get it. So she's out.
We get it.
Yeah, But we thought that this might be a fun conversation to have because of all of the Spotify Wrapped and the Apple. What is the Apple's? I'm an Apple person. I don't even know what my Apple thing is called.
I have no idea.
Okay, Apple is called something Wrapped. It's not Wrapped, but Apple, whatever. Anyway, you know, when you listen to your favorite artist, Taylor Swift, over and over again, and then they come back and they tell you how many hours that you listen to your favorite artist, Taylor Swift. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to do, but with a Disney twist to it, plus talk about a few other things. But first, Jane, let's do some introductions in case anybody's new here and does not know who we are or why we're talking to them.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jane, and you can find me on Instagram at RealMousewifeWDW.
And I am Patty Holiday, the owner of the No Guilt Universe, which is noguiltdisney.com, No Guilt Fangirl, No Guilt Life, and No Guilt Travel. And basically, you know, we are just really big Disney fans, and we like to talk about all kinds of aspects of the Disneyness that may or may not be in your life or coming to your life in a year soon coming up. But this year we're going to talk about the year in reverse. But before we do that, I wanted to touch on a few minor news things that are going on at the Disney parks. Jane and I were like, oh, well, we can also, you know, throw in some Disney news too. The good news is it won't take long because there's not a lot.
It was like cupcakes and cookies. And I was like, this is not news, people. There's always snacks.
There's always snacks. Yeah. So I think the biggest thing that people are talking about in this weekend, literally this weekend, is that Hatbox Ghost has finally materialized. Disney had told us that it would be the end of November, and darn it, they waited literally until November 30th to put him in his place at the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. Now, if you're going to Disneyland, he's been there for years. Whatever, but now we've got an East Coast version of him, which neither one of us have seen yet. So if you have, come tell us about it in the Facebook group, which is No Guilt Disney. And we'd like to hear your thoughts on seeing Hatbox there. I don't know. I've always liked this this reveal. I always thought it was a cool experience when they did put him at Disneyland. So I am looking forward to seeing him at Walt Disney World, but I will admit, since I've seen him for a couple of years at Disneyland, it's not quite as exciting to me, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say the same. Like, to me, like, he is a Disneyland thing.
Yeah, that's what I think originally he was at the Disneyland version. They took him out at some point due to I don't even know what reasons. The history is there. Yeah, redesign, whatever they did, reworkings. And then years later, people were like, why can't we have him back? And they did get him back. I mean, it's got to be like 4 or 5 years, 6 years. I mean, it feels like it's been a long time, but I did not do my due diligence and I did not pull up the date on that. So if you know it, feel free to correct us and send us a corrections quarter.
Well, you know, I'm a data nerd, but like not that level of data nerd, because I don't want to say that you're a data nerd, because you're like, I kind of want to know, but I don't want to work for it. So.
I'm like close enough for government work, right? We'll just round up. So yeah. Okay, so there's that. The other thing, just as an FYI, Festival of Holidays is running at Epcot right now. Ends December 30th, so marathon weekend. You aren't getting a festival because guess what? January 12th starts the new festival, which is going to be the Arts Festival, which is really one of the
Festival of the Arts.
yeah,
It's my favorite.
I like that one too. I went for the first time last year and I really did like and I enjoyed that. I just thought it was so bright and colorful and happy and it was a good thing for me at the time to have that bright and colorful happy in my life. So that's going to be running January 12th through February 19th. So again, Princess Friends, you also will not see Festival of the Arts.
So, and also just like that's not new. That has been since
Yep.
Festival of the Arts started. It has always been right after Marathon to right before Princess. So it's not like it's a change
Yeah.
and other years got it. It's just kind of the way they do it.
They just do it that way, which is weird. Sticking in Epcot, see, this is where we needed Theresa because she would have much more excitement about all of these things. But Walcott,
Woo! Woo! Sorry, I was giving you my excitement.
Walcott is coming down. We're losing more walls beginning December 5th. So, here in the next couple of days, Walt Disney's Dreamers Point, the new statue is going to be available for people to visit and sit next to and take pictures and all of that. And this is basically a Walt statue. We got to see the mock up for it or whatever they call it, the preview for it. I don't even know what they call the pre statue before the statue. It looked like a
The
statue.
prototype?
Prototype, maybe that's it. We got to see that at D23 Expo. And now it's officially the bronze actual statue is ready to go. It's installed. They've taken pictures of it and showed us. So it's going to be open to the public starting December 5th, which is also Walt Disney's birthday. So,
Oh, that's cute.
yeah, if you happen to be in the Epcot, if you're an Epcotian that day, go ahead and swing by and check that out. I think it'll be I mean, it's not flashy, it's not a ride, it's not whatever, but I think it'll be a neat thing to see and definitely take pictures of or around, you know, especially for the Epcot lovers that are out there who kind of know like the lore of Epcot. And this isn't anywhere near what I think Walt wanted, but Walt really did want to have this Epcot park created. So it's kind of nice that he's finally going to be represented there, I think. And then the last thing happening, really of note, I think, is that Luminous, the Symphony of Us, which is the new Epcot fireworks show, is also starting on December the 5th. So again, if you're going to be there and you want to see this on opening night, just beware that so will every single influencer, blogger, media outlet, etc., etc. Everybody will have their phones out trying to get video of this new show. So plan accordingly. Either skip it or show up early enough that your view will not be impacted by people holding their stuff up in front of you, because it's going to happen. So I think honestly, that was all I got. Did you see anything else of note to make
No.
commentary on? So yeah.
No, I mean it's been very slow news, which I mean in some senses maybe that's good because I just think we went through like a time where there was just so much news.
Bob Iger said
Yeah,
he's staying till what, 2026 now?
sure.
I think that's
Once
the
again, please don't follow us for facts.
I think that's the date. That's the only other thing that came out is like he had a hands-on thing, for a cast member discussion, whatever. And in that conversation, I believe he said originally he was only going to stay for 2 years, and now it's going to be a third year as he's working on trying to find his successor. So I believe that's also news if you care about that sort of thing. Okay, that's it. That's what we have from a news perspective. The rest of this is all Jane. So tell me what we're doing because I really have zero concept. I don't even know. She didn't share the spreadsheet with me, so I don't
No,
know what I'm looking at or talking about. I think she's just gonna ask me questions.
kinda.
Okay.
So I'll explain kind of what it is to anybody who may not have, I don't know, heard in that episode. I've mentioned it a few times, but at the end of the year, Spotify does this wrap up where they send you, just a high level summary of like, how many minutes did you listen? Who's your favorite artist? Always Taylor Swift. Here's your top 5 songs, whatever it is. And they take you on this beautiful little end of year journey of your experience with music and their service. And I've always said I would like, because Disney has all of the data on us. They know when we tap in, they know where we go, like they know all the things. So I would like it if Disney either did the same thing at the end of the year, or because we like to pretend that Disney listens to us, I think that this is a really great thing to send when people are coming up for renewal on their annual pass. Because then, first of all, people would be sharing it. If you make it adorable and cute and packaged, then people will share it to social media. And if they're doing it throughout the year, then you get that ongoing kind of bump of attention. I mean, not that they need any more attention. They're everywhere. We all know it. But, guess what? They still don't stop marketing, and this is part of marketing. But if they just wanted to do it at the end of the year as like everybody does like a year end wrap up and the new year and the fresh starts and all that good stuff, I would like to see them do that. So I didn't wait for them. And I decided at the beginning of the year that I was going to track all to Disney this year.
So, question: did you do Disney World and Disneyland, or did you?
Yes.
Okay, so you did both.
Yes.
Next,
so I
follow-up
question. Go ahead.
Tell me about your sweater there, because that's super cute. I know, like, this is like interrupting your whole dad and nerd conversation, but I'm kind of like, it's adorable. So tell me.
So this is the Captain America Christmas dad sweater that I think I bought it 2 years ago when like one night it got cold, and this was like the only sweatshirt that I could remotely find myself wearing. And I put it on this morning because a memory came up from a year ago of the time when I saw Chris Evans in the park. And I was like, so my stories were the time that I saw Chris Evans in the park, and then I went back to find some other story, and I came across the one where we recorded for D23, and it was like, listen to Patty fangirl about Chris Evans in a blue sweater. And I was like, no, we're wearing the Captain America Christmas dad sweater
in honor of Chris Evans. Okay. Side note, to the best of my knowledge, and listen, we're not like super celebrity stalkers. We're like low key celebrity stalkers. But Chris didn't bring his newlywed wife to Disney this year. We did not get any that we know of. Like I never saw any. Usually Chris comes with his family every November, and end of November-ish is typically when you would see some kind of report of them being at the parks. Either actively being at the parks or they just left. Like sometimes people weren't posting until after they had left, which is cool.
Yeah, totally cool.
But yeah, last year you just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
The right place at the right time. And to
you
your
just
point,
walked out. Yeah.
I didn't post it on social media when it happened. And then I waited a week later. And so that week later was today.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that's why it didn't come up.
So, but anyway, just a interesting note that we did not see them this year, which kind of makes me sad because I like to think of him as being one of us.
I listen, I think he'll be back when, as soon as he gets a chance. I can't see him not coming.
Yeah. I know he likes the parks. So,
yeah.
Okay.
No, he's definitely one of us.
Back to your tracking.
This is going to be quite an episode.
And listen, Disney, when you're creating your app, this is just for Patty Holiday. Does not need to be on anybody else's app because it's weird and it's creepy. However, I don't mind if you decide to tell me how many times I hit the bathroom because because it's a lot, and like which ones are my favorite. I would like to know which ones do I tend to go to. But listen, it's weird and it's creepy for anybody else. I just give you permission for me, nobody else. Okay. I just want to make that clear.
I mean, chances are they probably don't want to tell people exactly how much data they have on them.
I know. I'm sure they don't.
So I understand that. But for me, I wanted this data. So I tracked basically what I tracked was the day that I went, what park did I go to, what rides did I ride, if I saw any shows, if I did any, if I ate anywhere. I had started at the beginning of the year tracking what I ate to see if I just eat the same things over and over
Mm-hmm.
again, which we all know that I just eat the same things over and over again. But then I stopped doing that. Like halfway through the year, I was like, stop doing that. So yeah, it was parades, fireworks, rides, parks, festivals, parties, shows, like all of that. So I
Okay.
tracked all of it. I did it kind of, listen, this is not like a scientific thing here, please. But the way that I did it was like I would know what parks I went to. And luckily for me here in Florida, generally when I go to the parks, I don't go all day long like a tourist, which although I did, and we're talk a little bit about that after we go through this part. So whenever I do it here, it was sort of easy. I could come home at the end of the day and be like, oh, I went to this park, I rode one thing, I ate here, I came home. Like it was very easy. It was a little bit harder when I went to like Disneyland and it would be like a full day, or even here when I had done like full days.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that it was helpful to, every couple of hours, just like throw in my notes app, like, okay, we did this, 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 and this. And then I had all of it. And then I threw it in a spreadsheet because that's part of my day jobs. I make spreadsheets. And yeah, and then Spotify came out with their Wrapped, and I got really excited to do mine. So that's what I've been doing this week.
All right, so that's where we are. So basically, what I'm hearing is that you just kept notes in your notes app, and then you would come and you transfer it into your spreadsheet,
Correct.
and then after every trip that you went on, and then here we are. You looked at it at the end of the year, and what did we discover? What did we find out?
So I'm going to ask you. So the way that we're going to do this is I'm going to ask you questions and let you guess what happened.
Okay.
And then we can talk about it. Okay. So let's just start with the big one. What park did I visit the most this year?
Oh gosh.
And so remember that this is both coasts. So you have options of both places. Just letting you know.
I happen to know that you hate going to Magic Kingdom. However, I feel like that's the one that just by default we all end up going to more often. You love Hollywood Studios. You don't like Epcot, but Guardians are at Epcot. I know you had a couple of trips to Disneyland. So there's that, but I just feel like just by guessing my guess is going to be that you went to Hollywood Studios the most.
No, there is a tie.
Okay. Okay.
And it is for Epcot.
Okay. Okay. Teresa
And Teresa's going to be like, see, it's your secret favorite. The tie is between Epcot and Disneyland.
Okay. Okay. Look at you. We're just like saying, listen, I know, and this is probably like one of your questions, but I can guess which one is your least visited park. In fact, I would even put down that you maybe went 0 times this year, maybe once.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, wait. You went at least once because I know you went as a tourist. So I know you went at least once.
Yes.
Animal Kingdom, one time.
It was Animal Kingdom, and I went twice this year.
Twice. I knew it.
I went once as a tourist.
Uh-huh.
And I went once for the elephant tour that I did for my birthday.
That's right. That's so funny. Okay.
So yeah. So and I always joke that it's not that I don't like Animal Kingdom. I like it, and it's also really convenient to get in and out of as a local. But like, it's hot. It's hot. It's just very humid with the plant life and the greenery. Like, it's just a lot.
It's so big too. It's really
it's so big.
It's just big. Okay, so I'm super excited that Disneyland
and Epcot. Yeah.
Which honestly would probably be mine too. That would have been my guess for myself.
That's what I was like, this is the same as Patty's.
Yeah, it absolutely would have been because I went to Disneyland quite a bit and I always go to Disneyland, always. And then I literally walk in, ride Guardians, and leave Epcot. But I go to Epcot every single day of every single trip.
Same. Same.
So yeah, okay, that's fun.
When we when I did the trip as a tourist, which will come up, but my best friend came with her kids, and they're my nephews and my niece, and they were, after they had ridden Guardians, they were like, "Do you just come here and just come in and go to Guardians and then leave?" And I was like, "Yes, that is what I do." And they were like, "You have the best life." So, and by the way, if anybody sees me looking over, it's because I have my other laptop over here that I'm using with this information. So, all right, Patty, how many days did I visit a theme park this year? Out of 300, well, it's technically not 365 because I started it January 1st and we're doing this at the beginning of December, but how many days did I visit a theme park this year?
Let me
You have a
think.
1 in 335 chance.
Yeah, yeah. I will say that it's less than people would expect out of a local
I
because
think
I
so,
know
yeah.
Jane and I know what her year was like. It just didn't have as many theme park trips as it did probably in the past. So I know
Yeah.
it's going to sound like a lower number than most people would expect. However, I also know,
It's both coasts now.
yeah, that's what I'm adding. I'm like, but then there's been all these Disneyland trips, which requires a theme park trip every single day. Which, by the way, I'm laughing because I'm traveling with some other people for the Disneyland Half Marathon, and they're like, "What days are you going to the park?" And I'm like,
All of them.
"What do you mean?" It's the Jennifer Lawrence. What do you mean? I have a magic key. I'm going every day. I don't. This doesn't make any sense to me that you would.
Does not compute.
It doesn't compute. Anywho, so I'm gonna say, let's see, we're gonna say 62.
So
Do you
my
know why I picked
total,
62?
no.
I was
Well, she picked 62 because I love Jason Kelsey.
Listen, I was like, it could be 33. It could be a little more than that. I'm going to just go with 62 because I don't know. So
Yeah.
62.
33 is a little bit closer, but
Okay.
the total number of days was 41 days.
Yeah, I have nothing for 41. But okay, 41. So funny, I went 33, then I went in my head, I went 42, and then that made me jump to 62 because I was like 42. But 42 was going to be my number, actually. Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so 41 days. I spent 41 days. So I spent more than a month going, going to the Disney parks. And then which coast do you think I spent the most time going to?
Oh, Disneyland.
It is Disney World because I live here.
Well, but see, time wise, I think you spend more time, actual time
Correct.
in the parks. That's what I was thinking was
Possibly.
Disney.
That is a question we have later on because
Okay.
in
By
my
hour, I feel like you would spend more hourly at
because
Disneyland.
in my nerdiness,
Yes.
I also put down the times, how many minutes rides and attractions were, including fireworks and parades. And so there are some time questions that will come
Okay.
because,
Okay.
it's interesting to just look at the data. So I did spend more time at Disney World this year.
Okay.
Again, maybe in time Disneyland because I do full days there, whereas Disney World I don't.
Yeah.
But it was 25 days of Disney World and 16 days of Disneyland. Which month did I have the most park days?
July.
It was July. Good job, Patty. You didn't even hesitate on
I
that
didn't
one.
hesitate on that one. I knew it was July.
Yeah. So,
We went to Disneyland. You went to Disney World for your birthday.
yes.
So yeah, it was July easily, which you're insane in Florida in July. And that's when you decide to go to all the parks.
That's what I thought was so amusing was like, here I am complaining about how much I hate the summer heat and going whatever and doing all this stuff. And then there I am in Disney for 9 days in the month of July. And it's like,
Including that was when you went to the Animal Kingdom, which is the hottest, grossest park in July ever. And
correct.
it was that
And
day.
we coincidentally, like, randomly got this day that was like 78 degrees and overcast. I know. And I was like, we could not have picked a better day to be in
Yeah.
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, for real, for real. Okay.
So yeah, that was pretty great for you though.
Yeah, yeah.
What park did I ride the most rides
Magic
in?
Kingdom.
Yeah, Magic
Yeah.
Kingdom. How many attractions did I do? And I say attractions because it's like, there's a ride, there's shows,
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah. How many did I do in one day?
I feel like you did. I'm going to undershoot it because I know you were moving that day because I remember us talking about this. But I'm going to say you did 18.
15.
15. Okay.
15. Yeah. And that was like,
I know
there
you
were,
were exhausted. That's why I just remember having the conversation that you were like,
yes.
and people do this all the time.
I was like, how do people do this all the time? And there was another day so I remember my May trip to Disneyland. We had done, I think, like 13 or something. And it was another one where we had like really just
Hmm.
banged rides out. And I remember on that day being like, oh my God, we did so much. And then, like, when you count it up, you're like, it actually doesn't sound like a lot when you're like, oh, I did 15 rides. And it's like, but that is a lot for like a Disney day. That's a lot.
It is. I think that when they first came out with Fast Pass and even with Genie Plus, Disney likes to tell us that the average guest is only getting 3 Genie Plus rides a day or
Right.
3 Fast Pass. That's why they came up with the 3 Fast Pass number. And then you could get extra Fast Passes after the three if you had time, if you were whatever. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely, 15 is a solid worked day. Like you guys were moving. But I don't think that that is typical.
It's definitely not typical.
I would say probably a typical family who is like working the Genie Plus system and, moving consistently at Disney World probably is getting more like 8,
Yeah, I agree. I
unless
agree.
they're like expert level and whatever. But I mean, if you are just a brand new guest, but you are a guest who really leans into this and really likes to do the whole idea behind it, if you're an easygoing guest who are like just so happy to be there, you'll take what you get and just do a couple of things. That's a different story. But I would say probably 8, maybe. So well done on pretty much doubling that.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's always like it's a lot of maximization,
It
and
is.
like there was a lot, and I mean, this sort of dribbles into the next conversation, but there was a lot that I was like, if you came here and don't understand how to use these tools,
Hmm.
it's very hard. And I mean, the good news is if you just you don't know what you don't know, and so you're like, okay, well, this is how it works, and like I'll just play the game.
Yeah. You don't know what
But
you're missing. Yeah,
no,
I
you
think a lot of
don't.
people don't realize, and that's when Disney leans on the whole idea of you could come back multiple times a year, 42 times a year, and still do something different every single time. Like, you don't have to repeat everything. But of course, that's not what we do. We repeat everything.
Well, it's
So,
funny you asked that because how many rides did I ride this year? And that is total rides and then unique rides.
oh, geez. Jane. Okay.
I
How
know,
many?
by the way, everyone, Patty hates these kinds of things. She hates any sort of like trivia and
I,
questions, and
what
she
I,
hates them.
what I like them. What I don't like is I like it when I know the answers. I like it when I win. So I don't like it when
There's no way to win.
I know. That's what I don't like. I'm a winner. I'm Monica Geller. I'm a winner. I like to
Oh
win
my
all the
gosh.
games.
Oh my god. You did say that you really enjoyed marrying Rob because you knew that you guys could win at things.
My husband is like the trivia savant. He literally is one of those people that knows a little bit about everything, like any topic. I shoot him with all kinds of random stuff and he's spitting out facts to me. And then I Google check them just to make sure because, you don't get to 29 years of marriage without Google checking them. And he's always right. And I'm like, how do you know these things? The only things he doesn't know are Taylor Swift and
And
Disney. He
maybe
doesn't he
Disney.
doesn't know
Yeah.
Disney.
I was going to say, why didn't we fact check some of our questions with him earlier?
Yeah,
But
no, he doesn't
but
know Disney at all. Because he's like, that's your realm. I'm not even gonna try. And I'm like, that's right. I got that. But pretty much everything else. And so I joke around that that's why I ultimately married him was because whenever we do play like Trivial Pursuit or we play any kind of game together, like family games with people, I'm like,
yeah.
Rob is my forever partner in all things because I like to win. But I don't want to do that. Like as you noticed, I don't like to do the work. but
Oh my God.
I know how to align myself with winners. Anyway, so the question is, how many rides did you? So here's the thing too. So Jane did 42 trips. I know rides are not
41.
41 trips.
41.
Yes. 41 trips. I know rides are not her priority in most of these trips. Some of them, yes, but not in all of them. So I can definitely say it's at least 41 if we're going to average things out that you've been on. But I am going to say because you had that one trip where you kind of did it like a tourist, where I know you went on a lot more rides, that bumps things up. Plus, you went to Disneyland, which always bumps up your ride numbers. Let's see, 160 rides.
So it was 111 rides total.
Okay.
And it was 60 unique rides.
60 unique
So
rides.
to your point, yeah, I mean, we ride similar things over and over,
Mm-hmm.
but there are things that we ride, just once here and there.
Or don't ride at all, like the canoes at Disneyland. You will never see my booty in a canoe at Disneyland. Not going to happen.
Sorry, Heather.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
You're
I
on
did
your
that
own
once
there.
and I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't need to do that again.
Yeah, no.
I'll save that for that episode of things I won't do again.
Things that'll never happen again. This.
This. Yeah, that. So, what ride did I ride the most all year? So, number of times. What is the ride and what is the number of times?
Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
Correct.
Okay.
How many times did I ride it?
Shoot.
I think this is going to surprise you.
I'm going to say 20 times.
6.
What? How, only 6?
6 times.
You're slacking. No wonder you only got September once. No wonder.
I got September twice.
2 out of the 6 times.
2 out of the 6. Trust me, when I saw and this is why I did it, right? Like,
yeah.
there's this like, oh my God, I ride this all the time. I must have ridden this 100 times.
Nope.
I must have done all right. And it was like, I mean, again, I know that this year was an anomaly for me with Disney.
I truly think
still,
this year was different. Yeah. That's why I was like easily 20 times. Because last year, I think you were easily 20 times.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. So yeah, 6 times. What song did I get the most on Cosmic Rewind this year?
Conga.
So it was a 3-way tie between Conga, September. Y'all, I finally got September. And everybody wants to rule the world. So now I'm like, oh my God, now I need to get the other ones because I haven't had them in so long. Okay. What 3 rides? 3? Yeah, sure. What 3 rides have I spent the most cumulative time on all year? So, like, the time of the ride. Now, mind you, I Googled the times of these rides. So, give or take, right? Like, who knows? Who knows if the Google box gave me the right answer?
Right.
But then I took them and I added up, like, if I rode Cosmic Rewind 6 times and it was 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and how much time is it?
Okay.
So what 3 rides did I mean, technically, I think I have 6 on this list. So.
Well, I know one is going to be It's a Small World.
Correct. That is number 2.
Okay.
And we should say it's a small world Disneyland version. Yes. Because I separated, if there was a duplicate, I separated it. But yes, it's a small world Disneyland version, 45 minutes. Yes.
Yeah.
I spent 45 minutes of my year.
I figured that was a for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to also say Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion was number 5.
Number 5. Okay.
And it's Disneyland Haunted Mansion.
Disneyland Haunted Mansion was number 5. Okay.
Yep.
I want to say the People Mover, but I don't know that you're as much of a People Mover stan as I am. So I'm going to keep that one off the list.
So I am a huge People Mover fan, and I really expected People Mover to be up here, and it wasn't.
But it was on there.
I think a lot of the waiting on this one was the length of time. So it's like, it's not necessarily number of times. It's just that, that tends to be shorter than some of these other experiences that we have that are
Okay.
longer.
I'm trying to think of like longer attractions because like the coasters are all pretty short. Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout.
Nope.
Hmm.
I'll let you answer one more and then I'll give you the whole rundown.
Jungle Cruise.
No. So the number one ride that I
Oh,
spent the
Rise
most
of the
time on,
Resistance.
Rise of the Resistance, is number 6.
Number 6. Okay.
The number one ride I spent the most time on was Disneyland Pirates, which was 48 minutes.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. It's a long ride.
It's very
It's
long. Yeah.
Disneyland. That one makes sense. I should have caught on that one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So technically, Rogers the Musical hit number 3 because, but the problem with
I'm
Rogers
so
was,
proud of that.
right, was that we didn't make it the full time the second time. And so I'm like, technically,
Yeah.
if it was a ride and it got evacuated, I wouldn't say that I didn't ride the ride. So
Right.
technically it counts. So if we had made it through both of them, Rogers the Musical would have been my number 1 just with 2 viewings. But I put it in at 45-ish because it was about halfway through the other
Yeah.
one. So Rogers the Musical is up there. But if we take that one out, Disneyland Railroad came in.
That was another one that I was thinking too. I was like,
Yeah.
the railroad probably is up there too.
Yep, Disneyland Railroad was 44 minutes, Disneyland Haunted Mansion 36 minutes, and then Walt Disney World Rise was also 36 minutes. Oh, so they were tied. Yeah. So that was, I just thought that was an interesting little tidbit. Also, not even remotely surprised about the amount of time I spend on It's a Small World, but we'll
No.
need to get that up again next year. How much time have I spent on attractions all year? Time, hours, and minutes.
Oh, girl, I have no clue. Yeah, let's see. You spent a month in the parks. So you spent 3 days on attractions.
I spent 12 hours, 30 minutes, and 15 seconds on attractions.
That's wild. That's wild.
Even more interesting is that the split was almost 50-50. Like it was 6 hours and 16 minutes and 54 seconds on Disneyland and 6 hours and 13 minutes and 21 seconds in Disney World. So I was like, look at that. I mean, Disneyland always edging it right out there.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Yep.
But Disney World has some in here. How many different restaurants have I eaten at this year?
All of them.
No.
I know. 4 different restaurants because you are a creature of habit.
One might say 28.
28. Okay, that's good for you.
28.
That is really good for you.
There, I have a 3-way tie for the top restaurant I've eaten at the most. Name them.
The Plaza.
Nope.
Not the Plaza. Not the Plaza. Sorry. What's the other one? Carnation Cafe. That's what I meant.
Nope.
Oh, okay. All right. That was my Disneyland option. Oh, well, then it has to be Pim's.
Pim's is on there, yes.
I was like, at Disneyland, it's always Carnation Cafe. At DCA, it's always Pim's. We haven't talked a lot about the Regal Beagle, so I don't want to put that on the list because I don't think that you've eaten that much there.
I didn't. I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
But no. Because
Yeah.
it's funny, though, at the beginning of the year, like my first couple of trips had been straight to Epcot. Like it was like one right after the other. And it was like go to Epcot, ride Guardians, eat the Regal Beagle, come home. Like it was, rinse and repeat. But no, it was not the Regal Beagle.
Okay. How about Connections Cafe?
Nope.
Are these like sit down, like table service restaurants, or are they?
No, they are both quick service.
What have you eaten at the most this year? Quick service. Oh, Cosmic Rays.
Cosmic Rays. Listen, Cosmic Rays can thank Evelyn for working
That's
there,
right.
because that's why I eat.
That's
at
why
Cosmic
you eat at
Rays.
Cosmic Rays. I was like, oh, because I was like, what do we always go to at Magic Kingdom? We always pop
Cosmic
in to
Rays.
say hi to Ev.
Yes.
Cosmic rays, Pims. I
Patty, where else do we eat like 400 times when we're in California?
when we're in California.
When we're like, I mean, can always eat there.
Well, my potatoes, but you don't eat the potato.
This girl and her potatoes. Flows!
Oh, flows. Duh, duh, duh. Yes, flows. Always.
I'm like,
Every
we
single time.
always eat a
And I
flows.
always forget flows. I always
You
do.
do, because like,
This
what?
was
I
this,
don't remember what we were just
we were
talking
talking
about. And
about
you said
something
something,
else and I forgot
and
about
you were like, "Oh,
flows.
I forget about flows." And I'm like,
I
"How do
do.
you forget about flows?"
Every single time we go, we're like, we literally scroll through everything. We talk through every single menu and then we go, flows. And we go to flows.
I mean, I can always just eat at Flows. They have just the steak fries
The
are
steak
great. Like
fries.
the
The chicken's
atmosphere,
good. It's all good.
chicken's good. Yeah, all of it's good. So I did put in here what was the festival I visited the most, but I also should say I don't go for the festivals. So it's
Right.
more like what festival happened to be happening
Well,
while I
that's
showed up.
food and wine because it
It is food and
happens
wine,
like
and
from
it's a
June
default.
until November. So
Yeah, and it was a default. Like it was
yeah,
straight up like we don't we're not really there. Like I don't even think I ate at a food and wine booth this year.
I haven't. I didn't. Yeah.
What hotel did I spend the most nights in?
Animal Kingdom.
It is the Disneyland Hotel. Yes. Now, Animal Kingdom was number two because you know that we do the July trip there, but that's a split trip. So I did half there and then half at Riviera.
Okay. So
So,
wait a minute. So Disneyland, obviously we stayed there, but did you stay there also on another trip? Because that's where I
no.
think I'm. Oh, so it was just a long enough trip that it counted
Yeah.
for the
So,
most
yeah,
amount of
because
days.
I had done at Disneyland, I had done Disneyland with us in September, and that was 4 nights. And then my May trip was Grand Cal, and that was 3 nights.
Got it.
And then you and I stayed off property in July.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I did actually put them in here. I was like, we'll just count in the Pojo Mojo Casa
Casa
House.
House. It was good. It was good.
Let's see. Well, this one you kind of already answered, which was what month did I have the most stays? But you already know that because you already guessed that earlier.
Yep.
Did I spend more nights in Disneyland or Disney World?
Nights. I think
Hotel
Disneyland.
nights.
Yeah, I think
It
Disneyland.
is Disneyland, but only by
Yeah.
one.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna be close because I know that's like your MO is like you guys like to go and stay in the hotels. You don't even necessarily go to the parks. You just stay at the
No,
hotel sometimes is
correct.
just staycations, but I knew you had quite a few Disneyland trips this year, so that's
Yeah.
definitely a hotel.
How many parades and fireworks shows have I watched this year?
Freaking all of them. How many nights were you how many days were you there? 41? 41.
41.
41 parades and you make me go see all the stupid ones. I'd say 20.
It is 20! Right on the nose! I saw 9 parade viewings and 11 fireworks shows. 11 fireworks shows. What parade or fireworks show have I watched the most? So this is number of times, not time wise.
Number of parade or fireworks shows did you see the most? Well, I don't think it's anything at Disneyland because I think the couple of times that you went, they had different ones going on. So I don't think that would have like added up. So then I'm going to say it's happily ever after.
It's The Magic Happens,
Is it?
and I've seen it 6 times.
Okay. See, I would have thought that happily ever after you would have seen more than 6 times.
No.
Okay.
Because also like Magic Happens is like it's everywhere, it's throughout the whole park. Like I won't sit necessarily and watch it every
Right.
time, but I always stumble upon it.
And we
And
stop
once
and
you
watch
stumble
it.
upon it, you can't not watch it. It's like you caught it. You caught the fever.
Honestly, I'm not
So
even
good.
I'm not even a parade person, and I
It's
will
true.
bop out to Magic Happens. It's so
She will.
good.
She did. She
Love it.
absolutely bopped in the bakery with me
Yep.
to the
Love it.
Magic Happens the
Love
last
it. Love
time.
it. Love it. Love it.
How much time have I spent watching fireworks and parades this year?
42 minutes.
5 hours and 33 minutes and 53 seconds.
5 hours?
5 hours.
Good grief.
And that's
And wait
just
a minute, you took a total of 12 hours on attractions, but 5 hours sitting and watching this parades, and that's crazy. That's crazy.
that's not even including the sitting. That's just like the length of time of the actual shows. But
Did
it's
that
the
include Rogers the Musical?
no, Rogers was included in rides and attractions.
Okay, because it's a okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
So this is just so I spent 2 hours and 33 minutes watching parades and 3 hours and 53 seconds watching fireworks. Well, and fireworks shows tend to be longer.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
and then how many special parties did I do this year? You should know this one.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Is that it? 3?
It is three.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did Not So Scary, and then I did 2 Oogie Boogie Bash. So I did all of my special parties with you this year. And then I did put it on here, but it's certainly not something. It was just like a statistic that I would keep track of, which is how many special events did I attend, and so
Mhm.
that was like if it was like an AP preview, like things like that. And so I did have that I attended 2 special events, which was the Tron AP preview and the Tron cast member preview.
Right, 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 right.
Thanks to Miss Evelyn working at Cosmic Rates, which is why I came in number 1. So yeah, so that's my stats for the year.
That's fun. That's
Isn't
fun.
that fun?
Yeah, no,
Like,
that's fun and that's interesting. And I think the cool thing is that again, like I wish, which Tanya would never do. My friend Tanya is also a Disney World local. And in comparison to Jane, this girl is at the parks hashtag all the time. Like
oh yeah,
all the
yeah.
time. I feel like she's in there. Now she may not be there for long or whatever, but she's in the parks a lot. I also do not think as a local, she rides a lot of things though. She's
Mm,
definitely she's an eater, so she's there, trying out the snacks and she's there going to the shows. Like she went to a lot of the Eat to the Beat concerts and stuff like that.
okay.
So I just find that so interesting that as a local, you can just have a completely different experience
Mm-hmm.
than if somebody who was a true tourist who went for a 5-day trip and just tracked those stats, how
Correct.
different they would be versus what you guys do, as a annual pass holder, local, whatever. And even as I do as an out of state annual pass holder, I do feel when I come in from out of state, not pressure, that's not the right word, but have an inclination to ride more things because I can't just pop in anytime I want to. Like, not to say you guys take it for granted. That's not what I mean. It's just that you have the ability to do that whenever you want to ride Rise of the Resistance, you can. Where I'm like, I have these 3 days, so I should go ride Rise of the Resistance because it's been a while since I rode it, right? So I feel like I tend to ride more attractions for that purpose, but also I'm just more of an attractions person than like you would never catch me spending 5 hours of my life in a year watching Disney parades. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. However, ask me what I did for 5 hours yesterday. I was scrolling TikTok. It was scrolling Twitter. So
You can do that while you wait for parades.
I know. I'm like laughing, going like, it doesn't make sense to me to spend that time sitting, watching a parade, but yet I'll waste my time in other ways. So like, no judgment free zone. You
No,
waste your
I
time
mean,
in other ways. I'll waste my
I
time.
mean, no, I'm still gonna judge you. I don't no, don't put me in that no judgment zone area.
All right.
No, no.
This is why it's the No Guilt Disney podcast, because I don't care. I don't care.
She does it. She
I
does
don't.
it.
But yeah, so no, I think that's really interesting. And I
It
do
was
hope
fun.
in some way, shape, or form that this would be something that Disney would put together in some way as a Disney wrapped. Disney, at the end of the year,
Something.
here's your stats for your Disney parks. I think it would be interesting. But also maybe they don't want to do that because
I think they don't want to be creepers.
I think that's part of it. They don't want to look like they're invading your privacy. They don't want to tip their hand and let us know just how much info they
Correct.
actually have on us. But doesn't mean somebody can't go out there and make an app.
I know. I'm trying to figure out a way to be able to make it accessible to other people. Because after I went through it, and I will tell you that there were several times throughout the year that I was like, oh, just give it up. And then I was like, don't do that. And I was really happy that I didn't
Yeah.
when I actually forgot about it. And then Spotify Wrapped came out, and I was like, oh my God, it's the end of the year. I can finally wrap it up. So I got really excited about it. And then I just need to figure out a way to make it more easily accessible. Cause like when I tell you, like I did this on a spreadsheet, it is not organized. It is not pretty. It was like an absolute like bare bones.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going to plop some things and then we'll just worry about it later. And then, I threw it into like some pivot tables in order to just give me some quick information.
I don't understand any of
Yeah. I
that.
was like, that's
So
totally like I was totally
you're
a
all
nerdy thing. It's
you're
fine.
all, it's not pretty, it's not a pivot table, da da da. And I'm just like,
Sorry. Sorry. But I mean, like, that's like so immature anyway. So that's just where my like my insecurities come because I don't have like top tier like Excel skills.
I
But
hear you. No,
anyway,
I
I'm
understand.
trying to figure out a way to make it more user friendly and a way to make it shareable. So I'm trying
Yes.
to see if I can make it like an app or something that maybe I can share and then other people can track their stats. What I am going to do
By
is
the way,
I'm
patent
going to
pending, trademarked, hashtag, it's our idea, copyrighted, whatever the legalese out there. Jane's, this belongs to Jane. Don't go stealing her stuff. No, I'm just kidding.
so true.
It would
So
be
true, Bestie.
it would be so awesome though, like to have access to something like this. I think it'd be fun. And again, like
I think so.
even if it's not like automatically tracked, right? Because that is kind of creeper. But if it was an optional, like I
No,
have
it's
the app
totally
on my
optional.
phone, so I could go in and track the things that I've done, check them off, day by day. I would
Right.
like to do that. I would like
Right.
to do
And
that.
then that's exactly what I how I felt. Like it doesn't
Yeah,
need to be automatic. It can't be automatic unless
yeah,
Disney does it themselves. But even then, like we joke that like they know everything about us, but like unless you tap into a ride, do they actually know that you waited in line for that ride? I don't know that they do.
yeah.
So anyway, so it would be, where the user enters it. And so like, could you manipulate your own information? Like, could I have forgotten something? Absolutely. So is it perfect? No. But let me tell you, it told me quite a story about my year in Disney. And now I'm excited because now I'm like, now I want to see what next year looks like because I'll have, less Taylor Swift concerts. Maybe, maybe not. But
You'll just have to add another section for Disneyland Paris and for Shanghai, for Tokyo, because girlfriend is going to be all over the world and you have airline miles. It's all good.
make a note, make a note to cut that out.
It's all good.
She's like, hold on, let me write that down right now.
Timestamp.
Yeah, time stamp 55 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, I'd like to compare it to, and I would most like to see it the year after. So,
Yeah.
I'd like to see for 2025, knock on wood, I will finish school next December. And so, like, that really opens up a ton of my time. So I'm like, oh, 2025. And as I was going through this, I was like, oh man, now I'm like, wow, we haven't done these other things in so long. So, oh, now I have a whole list of things that like, hey, let's go back and do those things because we haven't done them in a really long time.
Yeah, no, that's a fun way of doing it. And like I am not a bit I like data too, not in the same way that you do, but I do like nerdy kind of stuff like this too. So in my head, I'm like going, for me, it might actually, I think it's easier for me to track because I have set dates that I go. Like I already know in advance, I will be there for 4 days. I'll be here these days, whatever. So for me, it
Right.
would just be a matter of sitting down and plugging it all in at the end of the day, what all I did that day. And I do like
Mm-hmm.
that kind of, I'm a list person. So I like to be able to
Yes.
cross things off my list. So
Yes.
making a list and then going back in, that's like, that satisfies me in some weird way.
Uh huh.
So I'm kind of like, I'm on board with, I'm going to try to track my stats for 2024 and see how they differ to yours. They're obviously, some things are going to be very much the same because we do some trips together,
Right.
but we also do some trips completely separate and completely
Correct.
different.
Yeah, like
And
when you come to Florida, like especially Run
I
Disney
hardly see
weekends, when you
you.
come to,
Yeah.
I don't even go to the parks on those weekends.
Right,
So
right,
yeah, I
right.
mean, it's definitely different.
It's definitely different. So it'll be fun to like compare and contrast like how we do things. And then we got to get Teresa on board on this because I would really like to see what hers looks
Yes.
like compared to ours.
Yes.
Because we're three very different park
People.
people when it comes to, I mean, you know, some things like we are going to like line up, but I think that we're very different in a lot of ways. So that would just be interesting to see.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. I think so.
Your experience as
As a
a
tourist.
tourist, what are your thoughts on that?
Y'all, how do you guys do this for fun? I was like, wait, how do you do it? Now, so I need to also preface this by saying that my best friend is very she's very good. She's not like she's very good at managing expectations of her children. So her children
Mhm.
are 15, 13, and 10, and she's she's not on social media. The kids are on very limited social media. Only the older two, the younger one isn't. And so I really think that social media plays a big part into the increased expectations of your
Yes.
Disney vacation.
Yes.
So, and that was, so for them, you know, everything was like, oh, well, if we don't get to it, we don't get to it. Like, no big deal. And I was like, absolutely not. And so, like, I just kept joking around with them that this isn't about you. This is about me and my experiences and my memories with, with you and your family. So, we are going to do all the things. So, yeah. So, I thought certainly the Genie Plus aspect of it was crazy. And I was like, I don't know how a regular person does this. And they did sort of like, they definitely understood. They were like, oh my God, we could not have done all the things that we did without you understanding how
Yeah.
to best manage. Hey, we're going to go into this line. We're going to wait for this. We're going to do this. Okay, while we're here, we're going to bang out these two. We're not going to waste any time on this. Like, and you know, that just comes from spending 41 days in a theme park in a year and 13 hours on attractions and 5 hours on fireworks. But yeah, so I thought that that was really interesting. We got to do the build your own lightsaber at the Savi's lightsaber experience, which I thought was really good.
You'd
Like,
never done that one before. You did the droid.
no, I had done the droid
Yeah.
before, and we did do the droid experience again. It was the 10-year-old, it was his birthday. And so for his birthday, I had bought him the droid experience. And so we did the droid experience for him. I will say that if anyone's coming and they want to do like that droid experience, I know it's only, they do it similar to the lightsaber experience that only one person can go with them.
Hmm.
So his brother went in with him because I was like, then they could both do it. Like I
Yeah.
built a droid, I don't need to do this.
Yeah.
But the rest of us were able to hang out in like the outer waiting area and like watch them. So like
Oh,
we
that's
could see
cool.
them building. Like we weren't in the pen with them, but we could watch them build it. For Savi's, it is not like that. But a couple things for Savis, I would say, be prepared for them to, you know, ask you if you want upgrades and, you know, this is what comes with the price, but then here's the better one, right? So there's all of that.
The mouse
But
going to
these,
be in your pocket, all right? You're just going to
oh
sneak in
yeah,
there like a Jedi and take money out of your pocket just by these
yeah,
Jedi mind tricks because
yeah,
they got you. They got you right there. How are you going to say no to your kids when, yeah,
no, absolutely.
yeah.
But the experience itself was great. It was really great. We did the end of the day. And so this was a tip I think I would recommend to other people is don't book it. So first of all, we only booked it the day before. So
Hmm.
if you don't book it ahead of time and you get down here and you see people and you're like, oh my God, you know what? Now I really want to do it. Check because there were times available. We
Hmm.
were able to book. It was actually like available all day long. I had us book for the very last one because one, we did not want to carry two giant lightsabers around the parks all day long. So that was like an absolute no. And the second one was it made for really cool photos because once you're done, we went over to the Millennium Falcon to like take some photos. Now, I will also say there was a lightsaber meetup that night. And while I love all the lightsaber people finding their own people, because like I found my people and I will find more of my crazy people doing whatever meetup craziness we're doing. But it made it a little difficult to get a photo. And so it was like, I all I had asked was like, can I just ask when like they were taking a giant group photo and I was
Mhm.
like, I just want to ask when it's going to be over. Like how long do we, is it 15 minutes? Is it 20 minutes? Like, how long will it be over for them taking this picture? And it was like, we don't really know. And they're going to be here for the rest of the night. So I was like, oh, so that like turned me off a little bit because I was like, so basically nobody else matters except for the giant group of lightsaber people. Now, granted, they also probably spend 41 to 100 million days a year in the parks. And I know people say that we don't spend money, but fun fact, we do. Um, so I understand where you would give them somewhat of a priority, but like there are other guests. And
Yeah,
so I would just say that that was a little, and like their answer was like, oh, we'll go take a picture over there, like in this corner. And it was like the boys really wanted a picture where you could tell it was the Millennium
of
Falcon.
course. Of course. Yeah.
Right. So we did wait, and it within like 10 minutes, they didn't move, but they got enough like out of the way that I was able to like take a picture with them. But
Okay, good, good.
that would be my recommendation there. And I actually don't know that they would do them. That was on like a weekend night. So I don't know that they would do them
Probably not a
on
weekday.
maybe like a weeknight.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, I thought that was super
I'm not
interesting.
dialed into the lightsaber meetups. I know they do them like May the 4th, right? Or May,
No,
or
they do them a lot.
but my understanding is, yeah, like maybe even once a month. Is it that often? Maybe every other month. I don't know, but I feel like I've seen it come across my feeds more often than I would have thought. So it's not just special days. It seems like there's like
I
special Star
almost
Wars days, like it's special lightsaber meetup days, whatever they do them. So
I want to say there's one probably like once a week.
do you think it's that
Like
often?
yeah, I want to
Okay.
say that it's probably weekly because like not everybody can go on that day, but I feel like I don't know, maybe I'm just always there on the weekend that is that. I don't know. So so yeah, because and I mean they've been going on for a couple of years now, and I certainly don't think that like we don't need to stop lightsaber meetups. Like, let
No,
them go be
that's
with their
not.
people.
I didn't pick that up. I didn't think that that's what you were saying by any means.
No, not at all. And they were very like, oh my god, let them come in the photo. But like the boys just they didn't want to go in the photo. Like they're 10 and 15. Like they're not 30 and like, all
Well, they're
right,
also
let's go.
they're also probably not like super into the Disney culture because of these particular kids just aren't like. So this would have been like.
Yeah, yeah, it was exactly. It was a little bit of that. I mean, they surprisingly were very like open and welcoming and like understanding of like the Disney culture. But yeah, so that was the one thing that I would say about that. Savi's is also the one person that can go in. So we were lucky we had two kids that did it. So then two of us were able to go in. And so, you know, I would say it's a pretty cool experience. It's
Mhm.
definitely worth it if you have a kid who's like a super Star Wars
Right,
lover.
right. I
Yeah, I
agree.
definitely think that that's a big thing. The other thing that I would say really kind of saved us is, and this has always been like one of my pro tips for people that come all day long, is booking a sit down meal in the middle of the day. Like if you're not leaving a park, if you're planning on going all day, all night, we did not do, you know, rope drop to fireworks. We did sometime after rope drop because we're not early morning people. It was, you know, let the kids get up, sleep in as like a normal thing. Like, you know, no one was sleeping in until 12 o'clock, but it was like sleep until a normal hour, you know, get up, take a little time, watch some cartoons. Like it was very evenly paced, but it was very important for us to take those breaks during the middle of the day. So So we did book the meals in the middle of the day, and they kept saying, wow, that saved us. Like just having that time to just downtime to be able to sit,
Just, I mean, it
relax.
ends up taking, I mean, like minimum, you can get in and out, say within 45 minutes, right? There are absolutely sit down meals where you can get in and out fairly quickly. But if it takes you 2 hours to kind of be off your feet for a
Yeah.
little bit and to be out of the heat and to get some air conditioning and obviously take your time and eat your food and whatever, then yeah, I agree with you. I think if you're not going back for an actual rest, that
Hmm.
booking an actual sit down meal can make a huge difference in your day. Like we've been to the parks before where we've just sat and like nursed a coffee or, picked on
Hmm.
a snack or whatever for an hour, hour and a half, but it's not in the air conditioning. So yeah, I would say that if you are trying to, if you're not used to the heat and you're trying to go day in day out, whatever, that's a great tip. Yeah, for sure.
Even not even just the heat. It was just them like being out of the stimulation.
Absolutely.
So it
Yep.
was just like just having that time to like, okay, we're gonna quiet down, we're gonna like recharge, we're just gonna sit and chat and not have,
Did you guys hang
you
out at
know,
the wedding room, the banquet hall?
we tried to do the wedding room, but the timing of what we had at Hollywood Studios wasn't wedding room friendly.
Okay, wasn't
So
aligning to it. All right. All right.
yeah, so we did not, because I had taken Rachel to the wedding room last year, so she was like, "Oh, well, we have to do the wedding room." But for those of you who don't know, the wedding room at Pizza Rizzo is it's only open until like 5 o'clock. Like Pizza Rizzo itself is only open till 5 o'clock, and I think the wedding room is only open from like 12 to like 4. So yeah, you have to really get in that window, and we had other plans during that time. We did Hollywood and Vine, which is great if you like characters. It was super cute, and yeah, so that's what we did there. Epcot. Oh, the other thing that I thought was really interesting, and I don't know, maybe this is normal for other people. I don't know. I don't tourist. So when you plan your trips, what I did when I planned their trip was no shade to Animal Kingdom, but shade to Animal Kingdom. I planned Animal Kingdom as the last day of the trip with park reservations. And none of this might matter come January because there's no park
Yeah.
reservations in January, right?
Right. Yeah.
Is that for
After,
everybody?
no, annual pass holders still have to make park
Okay, that's what
reservations.
I thought. But then somebody
Unless you're going
recently,
in after 2 o'clock and not on the
except on
weekends for
Saturday.
Magic
Yeah.
Kingdom. Like, let's make it more complicated, right? Like, it's so dumb. But yeah, no. So annual pass holders are still going to be required, but after January 9th, people who just have tickets or have a
Okay.
package and have tickets, whatever, those regulars, the regulars do not have to make any kind of park reservation. They can show up at any
Okay.
park they want to go to, and they can park hop at any point.
Okay. That's what I thought. And
Hmm.
then somebody recently said to me, no, that's not true. Annual pass holders don't have to either. And I was like, oh, did that change at some
I
point? And
wish.
truthfully, it could have because I've been so scattered. But okay, that's what I thought. So anyway, with the park reservation, so maybe this only applies to people who are annual pass holders who are traveling here, but I made sure that Animal Kingdom was on the last day of their park days. And the reason I did that was so that we could save changing a park day. So it was like do Magic Kingdom the first day, do Epcot the second day. And then that way for the virtual queues, we knew exactly what they wanted to re-ride
Hmm.
virtual queue wise. And then we could change Friday to be like, okay, we're going to switch to this park on, our, so that we can grab the virtual queue in the morning and then we'll be able to go to wherever in the afternoon. So I think keeping that was really smart.
Hmm.
And then I would also say just wait until you get through the other things because every day I would ask the kids to rank like, what was your favorite ride? What was your favorite this? And of course, on day one, all they talked about was Tron. Tron, Tron, Tron. Can we come back and please ride Tron? Tron is so good. We love it so much. And I also love Tron. I think it's great. And then they rode Guardians of the Galaxy on day two. And it was, oh my God, can we go back and ride Guardians of the Galaxy? It's so good. There's nothing better than Guardians of the Galaxy. And then we rode Rise of the Resistance. And then it was, oh my God, can we ride Rise of the Resistance? Luckily, we can ride Rise of the Resistance without a virtual queue.
Yeah.
But we did ultimately wind up changing our park pass on that Friday so that we were able to go back in and do Epcot again and re-ride Guardians for a second time. So that was the only other thing that I was like, you know what? I was like, I just need people to remember like kind of how to change your park days. I know a lot of people, you know, there are some people that like to do Animal Kingdom first, but really putting that at the end of your vacation kind of gives you some flexibility in terms of virtual queues.
I think you're right. I think that's another
Yeah.
another little handy dandy tip.
You know, it was like things I learned. And also don't go in for rope drop, no matter what Patty says.
I love rope drop, but I only love it when it's like me. Like, I mean, that's the difference is me trying to drag all my kids into rope drop. I
Yes.
don't even, I don't even try. I don't even try. They're full on young adults slash teens. Nobody has time for that. Nobody has interest for that. We don't do it anymore. But if it's me or just me and my husband, I can make him get up and go with me, and we can rope drop successfully and have a great time. But I do think that hauling kids in, well, you can get so much done with rope drop. Only if your kids are morning people. Like if they're up anyway, if they're going to get you up at 6 o'clock because that's what kids do, because little kids do that, that's a different story. You're up anyway, get up and go. Just go and attack the day. But if they're sleepers, let those babies sleep. Don't. Yeah, I agree. Just stroll in later.
Yeah, I mean,
and
the
and
kids
and
is
try and don't show up when the park opens either. Like either well before rope drop
yes.
or an hour after park opens. Otherwise,
Yes.
you show up and it's intimidating. It moves pretty quickly, but it's very intimidating when you show up outside of Hollywood Studios and the line's like already backed up to the Skyliner to get in at
Mhm.
regular time frame. So keep that in mind, is that if you're not gonna make it for rope drop, or you're not gonna be there early, just stroll in an hour afterwards and you will stroll in versus standing in lines.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing that I did find out was PhotoPass. So PhotoPass on these rides is very like iffy whether you get your photo on Tron or don't, and the same with Guardians, like
Yep.
all this
I
like
haven't gotten
auto
mine.
connecting.
Yeah, I haven't gotten mine
Yeah.
in recent times.
So you can submit a request online to get it, and they'll go through and kind of try to timestamp. And so every time we would ride the rides, one of the things I always do is I just take a screenshot of my phone
Mm-hmm.
when I get off the ride. And I just leave it in my photos. And then if the photo comes through, great, I can delete it. But if it doesn't, then I can at least say I got off the ride at 6:36 or 6:35 or whatever the time is. So that's really helpful. But then also, so what we found was the kids didn't have magic bands. They all just
Mm-hmm.
magic mobiled into the park, except the little one. And he had a card. So that, like, it didn't pick up, like, him and his sister rode Guardians together and they were in a separate car than us. So our Guardians car for the rest of us got picked up. And I think it was probably because there were enough of us in there that had phones and apps and whatever that
Mm-hmm.
were open that they could figure out it was us, but they would not pick up those kids.
Mm.
And so I did manage to go to there's photo pass in the Sid Coengas in Hollywood Studios. And I know they have one in every park, but I don't know that everybody knows this. There's a photo pass viewing location. And the great thing was it doesn't matter what day you go in. So like I went in and was like, hey, we're missing this photo off of Tron that, we got this person's photo off of Tron. It was taken at this time. And they were able to go in immediately and be like, here's the train you were on. I need this photo and this photo. And they loaded them right up. So I highly recommend doing that because I had submitted tickets online and it says like, we have a extended wait time, blah, blah, blah. And it took them like days before they responded. So I would say if you're going to be in a park and you know that your pictures haven't shown up, if you get one and you don't get the others in your group, I would definitely just go and just find them.
That's a good tip too.
That, yeah. And I mean, it didn't take long at all. So, and I've done it in Disneyland before, but I didn't know how to do that in Disney World. But I definitely say that was a big one because the kids absolutely loved seeing their photos. They wanted, every time it was, I want to see, what did I look like? What did this one look like? Oh my God, this one made that face, whatever it is. But they make for good memories and you're paying for them anyway. So go get them.
Correct. Love the photos.
Yeah. So.
All
right. So if you have any other tips for people who are tourists at Disney World, then you need to give them to me because I don't know.
Or and she might go tourist it up again in a year or two or six. Who knows?
I only tourist up in California, so I can tell you tourist in California. I just don't tourist out here. But who knows? Maybe I'll do it more than once. So if you have tips to share, or if you want to talk about data and what data you would like to see, maybe I'll track some new data next year. Come join us in our Facebook group, which is No Guilt Disney, or send us an email at noguiltdisneypod@gmail.com and join us every weekish because, as Patty likes to say,
it is no fun to fangirl Disney wrapped alone. Disney data nerdiness alone. This was fun. I liked it.
It's true.
Good job.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.